All right, the TSA is expecting record crowds at airports this Labor Day weekend, but there is a new trend in the TSA line that could hold you up. Do you feel like your rent is too high? Well, the DOJ says a Texas software company has helped landlords inflate rental prices. The Fed says it'll lower interest rates next month. What that means for home buyers, and we've got down payment assistance programs available to help get buyers in the door. And more college students are going hungry. How colleges are helping with free food pantries. And thanks so much for joining us here on Dollars and Cents. I'm your host, Heather Sullivan. Now, before we get to all of that, since I first reported on an app called Too Good to Go, I've heard from many of you who really like getting the surprise bags of leftover food from restaurants at a big discount. So I wanted to let you know that Whole Foods is now getting in on it. The grocery chain is offering a surprise bag of food at a deep discount on the Too Good to Go app. The bags are filled with about $30 worth of leftover foods like salads, baked goods, and produce, but you can get them for $10. Whole Foods says that the offer will help stop good food from going to waste, and it also gives customers a bargain on their groceries. Okay, the TSA is expecting a record number of travelers this Labor Day weekend. It plans to screen 17 million people between August 29th and September 4th. But watch out for this trend because it is annoying a lot of people. Social media influencers are taking staged, artistic photos of their TSA trays while going through security. This means they're spending some extra time to arrange their things in the tubs, and then they're taking photos to post online. While that may not be annoying to see in your feed, it is an added distraction to the process. However, TSA says as long as it doesn't cause delays, it's really not an issue. But now you know. If you are taking a road trip this Labor Day weekend, you want to get the most out of your gas tank. Well, it's not always about buying the cheapest gas. Consumer Reports says that you can actually save money, drive farther, and improve your car's performance by choosing gas stations that offer top-tier fuel. They say the higher quality gas, available at all grades, can help maintain your engine over time. So brands including Exxon, Mobil, Chevron, Shell, and Costco have top-tier gas. Also, keep your gas tank at least half full to avoid running out if you get stuck in a traffic jam. And finally, you can use online tools like Gas Buddy, Waze, and Upside to find the lowest prices along your route. And by the way, sometimes that lowest price is actually a little further away from the major roadways and highways. All right, the federal government is accusing a Texas-based real estate software company of allegedly allowing landlords to inflate rental prices. The DOJ has filed a lawsuit accusing RealPage of using its software to help property owners work together and fix prices, increasing rent beyond market levels. The suit would speed up the government's efforts to regulate what it considers a misuse of technology.
A large number of landlords effectively agreed to outsource their pricing decisions to RealPage by using a, quote, auto-accept setting, which effectively permits RealPage to determine the price a renter will pay. Landlords understand what their arrangement with RealPage gets them. As one said, quote, I always liked this product because your algorithm uses proprietary data from other subscribers to suggest rents and terms. That's classic price fixing.
In a statement posted on its website in June, RealPage called claims against the company false and misleading. They add that their software, quote, contributes to a healthier and more efficient rental housing ecosystem. We'll keep you posted on what happens. All right. Well, we've got some good news. The Fed has indicated we might finally see an interest rate cut next month, and that may help people that have been hoping to buy homes. There are also some great down payment assistance programs that can help first-time home buyers. So we've got Bank of America lending executive Sandra Bradford joining us with some great tips for home buyers. Thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
You guys at Bank of America have a really generous down payment assistance program to help home buyers. So first, I want to talk about that.
Sure. So we at Bank of America have a $15 billion community home ownership commitment. It's through our free grant programs, and there's two. So we have our America's Home Grant, which is $7,500, and non-recurring closing costs, which it helps with appraisal, credit report, and title. And then we have our down payment grant, which is 3% of the purchase price, or $10,000, whichever is lower. And in most cases, you can combine both of those. So you have a total of $17,500 in closing costs and down payment assistance. We also partner with other organizations within the community that can also help with down payment assistance as well. So in most cases, you can combine those organizations with ours and have plenty of opportunity for down payment assistance and closing costs.
And there are also some great programs just to help people get ready to buy their first home. So let's talk about those.
Yeah, I mean, more importantly, so you know, we have several resources on our online platform, which is very comparable to like a realtor.com or Zillow. It's called our Real Estate Center. And in our Real Estate Center, we have different segments in there that you can go in. We have a first-time homebuyer edu series, which will take you from beginning to end of the entire home buying process. And we also have what we call Better Money Habits, which takes you through on how to begin starting to save and budget, because you can never start too early to be able to buy a home. And then we also have, which is really neat, I pulled the data this morning. So if you go in and look at the amount of listings we have in Houston alone today, we have a little over 9,200. And of those, a little over 5,000 are eligible for our grant programs. So the beauty is if you go in and you set up the filters and parameters for looking for a home, in the listing itself, it will tell you whether or not it's eligible for our grant programs.
And I want to get your insights as a lending expert, now that we're talking about this potential rate cut coming soon. What are your thoughts on buying a home right now?
I honestly think now is the good time to buy. I feel like it's a buyer's market because we do have a lot on the market right now, so it's a little slow. So it leaves us to have a little bit of negotiation room. Even though interest rates are where they are, I think it's a good time to buy, because you have to think if the rates do go down and for fear that it'll turn into a seller's market, and then at that time prices could go up even with interest rates lower. You could still have a higher interest or a higher mortgage payment than you would today if you were to go ahead and buy.
Some great insights. Well, Sandra, thank you so much for being with us and telling us all about both Bank of America's great programs and some of the others out there as well. And we'll put links to those for you on Sullivan Smart Sense on fox26houston.com.
Thank you.
And Fed Chair Jerome Powell has announced as of Friday that the Fed will likely cut interest rates in September. So if you have been looking to either buy or refinance a home, what could that mean for your mortgage? Well, experts say we may get a quarter-point cut, one in September, one in November, and one in December. And if you're in the market to buy or refi, this is probably the news you've been waiting for. Real estate experts say don't get too excited, though. The Mortgage Bankers Association predicted a slightly lower rate of 6.6% in the fourth quarter of this year and maybe 6% by the end of 2025. So the question is it smarter to buy this fall or perhaps to wait until it's cheaper?
I advise everybody to not wait, because the numbers don't weigh out. It's not better to wait it out because the price is going up. So it's better to go ahead and buy now and refinance later.
And if you own a home and you want to refinance, keep in mind you will have to pay closing costs and some other fees. So experts say you want at least a 2-point difference for your savings on interest to outweigh those costs. Now, here's a great way to save while you're eating out and help feed families in need. Houston Restaurant Weeks run through September 2nd, and our Coco Dominguez reports that you can get a multi-course meal for a fixed low price, and it benefits the Houston Food Bank.
Our Houston community depends on the generosity of the Houston Food Bank every single year for Houston Restaurant Weeks. This is our time to eat out, to do good. Not only do we get to eat, our local Houston community gets to eat, and we're here at Tavala. Is it first time participating? How you feeling this year?
We're very excited. We're very pleased to be participating in our first year, and great to be here and be able to share about our food and what we do here at Tavala.
What's the concept here? I see beautiful, beautiful food.
Yeah, so the Tavala concept was created by the Bastion Collection and Berg Hospitality. Our main goal has been to provide great Italian food to the Houston community, a lot of sourced ingredients. And as you can see here, we'll be able to share that with you on the table.
And even behind us, if you just take a quick look, it's giving you that whole Italian vibe. I've never been there, so I've got to go al fresco. And you've got lunch, brunch, and dinner.
Yes, we're open 7 days a week. We'll start with some apps. So this is our burrata dish with 3-way tomatoes. And here we have the Angus beef carpaccio with the dried tomatoes and a 24-month aged cheese.
Wow.
And then here from the pastas, we have the paccheri, our style with the pink sauce, the famous spaghetti cacio pepe. And then with the main courses, we have the chicken cacciatore with mushrooms, broccolini, our famous branzino with a Ligurian style sauce. It's very good, very delicate. And then here, it's one of my favorites. It's the chicken parmesan tavola style. So it's very good.
Huge portions.
Yes, yes, portions are great. Here we have desserts. Chef Salvatore's classic tiramisu.
Wow.
And then the last is the affogato, tavola style, which is done with the marrow of the day.
$25 for lunch and brunch, $39 for dinner. And look at all of this, so beautiful. You know, I got to taste a little something.
Please do.
I've heard about the pasta, so might as well go with the pasta.
It's all handmade and fresh made, so please enjoy.
Okay, I will. 1800 Post Oak Boulevard here in the Galleria Tavola, one of more than 400 restaurants on the HRW list. Join us. It's Coco Dominguez, Fox 26 News.
Thank you. Told you. Very good.
Wow.
You can't beat a wow. All right, well, get this. You know, it turns out that more teenagers actually aren't too excited to get behind the wheel. The number of 19-year-olds with a driver's license dropped by almost 20% from 1993 to 2022. Federal officials say it's due to teenagers preferring public transportation over driving themselves. And the Wall Street Journal reports that high prices for cars, repairs, and gas have all contributed to that decline. Well, all electric vehicles are starting to lose out in sales to hybrids. A Wall Street Journal report says plug-in hybrid vehicles are becoming a more preferred choice for buyers. Dealers say that the shoppers who want to go electric still want the security of a gas engine when they need it. And some automakers have canceled their plans for fully electric cars. Well, after 2 million homes lost power in Hurricane Beryl, some for days and some for weeks, solar power companies are saying that more homeowners are giving solar power a closer look. More households are becoming interested in ending their dependence on the power grid and looking for ways to keep the lights on. So we checked in with a local family to see how they switched to solar.
You see all the panels are on top of the house. I have around 55 panels in total.
When 2 million homes lost power in Hurricane Beryl, the Castellanos home stayed fully powered.
We were running AC, my kids was playing video games, I was still able to work.
Leo Castellanos says they invested in solar panels and backup batteries after the power shortage in the 2021 winter freeze.
These are the Tesla Powerwalls, so this is where the home backup, so whenever any extra solar that is generated is going to go and charge these guys.
He monitors it all through an app.
The solars are generating around 10.2 kilowatt hours right now. So you see the flow where the energy is going.
Castellanos says the investment was a steep $55,000, but he got 30% back through a tax credit. He says his $400 monthly loan payment is offset by eliminating electric and natural gas bills and not having to buy gas for his cars. Plus, he sells extra power to the grid.
You're actually able to sell back into the power markets when it's just a normal day. And so customers like Leo have made hundreds or even thousands of dollars a year in selling back to the grid.
Octopus Energy CEO Michael Lee says the key to staying powered up in an outage is installing backup batteries.
The solar panels generate the electricity, and the batteries, while they store it, can ensure that you have enough stored and always able to use that power.
Power that Castellanos says he no longer worries about losing.
The system is big enough that can provide enough power to my home, charge the battery, and also power my vehicles.
Yeah, so Energy Sage says that homeowners generally recoup their costs from going solar in about 7 years. And in April, the EPA awarded $250 million to the Texas Solar for All Coalition to expand access to solar power for low-income households. So here's an early heads up for purchases that you might need to make. Amazon has announced its Prime Big Deal Days that'll be in October once again to help you save on your holiday shopping. It says the deals may be similar to those on Prime Day in July, but the deals haven't actually been announced yet, and we will certainly keep you posted. And you know, parents are actually going into debt to pay for their children's school supplies. Yeah, a Bankrate study found nearly 1/3 of adults are going into debt or already have gone into debt just to pay for those school supplies. But it also found that parents are trying to save money this year, looking for more deals as they shop. Well, the number of college students going hungry is growing as they wrestle with rising inflation, housing, and tuition costs. Studies show 1 in 3 students are food insecure, and 42% of them are less likely to graduate. So more colleges offer food pantries, including the University of Houston, where they served 40,000 student visits just in the last spring semester. More students are reaching into these bins for food.
Rice, pasta, all that kind of stuff really helps me make it through the day.
At the University of Houston Cougar Cupboard, stocked with canned goods, fresh produce, and toiletries for students and their families.
I know, and generally, sometimes I'm scared to go and get groceries because all I can think about is, oh man, I have to save all this money for my tuition.
But even with scholarships and grants for housing and school, I still found myself in financial burden or financial stress.
The University of Houston partners with the Houston Food Bank, TDECU, and other donors to stock up. Any enrolled student can get what they need for free.
We know that 1 in 3 students experience food insecurity.
And that need has been growing. UH says the Cougar Cupboard has gone from 500 student visits in the fall of 2020 to more than 10,000 in the spring of 2023.
We do some nutrition workshops. We also do some food demonstrations so that students can also navigate how to use these supplies.
The cupboard even stocks some international foods for its diverse student body.
Like Mexican, like masa flour, and my mom uses that to make gorditas and pupusas and all that.
To help these cougars focus on their studies rather than on their growling stomachs.
It's been truly a blessing for the past few years that I've been a student.
And other colleges, including Rice University, TSU, and Houston Community College, also offer food pantries and resources for students in need. So check with your college if you could use some help. College students can also qualify for SNAP food benefits if they meet certain requirements, such as participating in a work-study program or having an expected family contribution of 0. So I've put a link to these resources for you on Sullivan Smart Sense on fox26houston.com. Well, the Postal Service is considering changes and cuts to save money, but it could affect your mail delivery times. The proposals would save $3 billion a year. The agency says it could lead to slower delivery times, though, for some folks, depending on their zip codes. They also say that it could also improve some mail delivery. The USPS says all first-class mail would still be delivered within 5 days. Any of these possible changes wouldn't take place until after the election. Okay, here's a story we have been following for months, and it continues to grow. A North Texas couple now says that they lost nearly $50,000, the money that they saved to grow their family. The couple tells Fox's David Centendry at our Dallas station that they are victims of an alleged scam involving a Houston-based surrogacy escrow business.
But it truly left us broken.
Chris Tapper wears a tattoo on his right arm depicting his son, Luca. In 2021, the 2-year-old died from a drowning accident.
But losing a child is the absolute worst thing that no one should ever have to go through it.
The Tappers will never be the same.
Those wounds are still there. They're always going to be there.
But they still have love to give. Erica Tapper, however, had a surgery after Luca was born, which prevents her from giving birth to more children. So they turned to surrogacy.
We didn't skip any corners. We go get an agency. We follow all the rules.
They say they signed up with Surrogacy Escrow Account Management, or SEAM, to facilitate payments to their surrogate. But not too long after they heard the baby's heartbeat, nearly $50,000 of their money was gone.
And then next thing you know, they're gone. And Now what do we do because she's pregnant?
Now, Seam's owner, Dominique Side, is seemingly missing. So is money belonging to hundreds of clients. The FBI is investigating, and dozens of people are plaintiffs in a civil lawsuit.
I mean, she literally walked away over who knows how much time with everybody's money.
The Tappers tell their surrogate they do not know exactly how they'll get her paid.
But I'm promising you that you will get paid.
Several North Texas couples are part of a growing list, speaking for awareness and change.
We're left with absolutely nothing at this point, other than thankfully we can sit here and say, we have a baby on the way.
The Tappers know firsthand that ones turning to surrogacy usually have been through something traumatic, making it even worse, knowing the type of families who claim to be victims.
We thought we were being protected, and we were not.
Okay, and finally, get ready to hear a word no one has used in a while: deflation. Yes, prices are dropping, but not necessarily everywhere. So consumer reporter Steve Noviello gives us a look at what's up and what's down.
Inflation is at less than 3% for the first time in 3 years, and that means prices are going to fall as well. Now, it's not in all categories. Some prices, in fact, will continue to climb, but at a much slower rate. Take a look at the video we've got for you. You'll see the first drops are going to be in physical goods and then in things like airfare, gas prices, cars, and food prices. Topping the list in the food category, the price of apples, of all things, down almost 15%. Men's suits and outerwear down 12%. Pre-owned cars and trucks down 10%. TVs down about 5%. Even airfare has dropped about 3%. So does that mean you're actually going to see a big shift in how much you pay for things? Well, yes, but not like the big swings that we saw during the pandemic. Remember when the price of lumber went absolutely through the roof because all of a sudden everybody was building fences and remodeling their homes, and then once that kind of settled down, the price really dropped significantly. It's not going to be as significant as that. The deflationary dynamic is less widespread because it doesn't have that kind of big moment push like we saw during COVID, which was the unsnarling of supply and demand and supply chain dynamics. Remember, at that time prices jumped because things just logistically were not available, and then all of a sudden they were. We've also managed to steer clear of recession so far, which would cause prices to plummet. So avoiding that big moment means not seeing a pronounced shift either. So what will we see? The very first thing you're going to see is offers. You saw it first from cars with the reintroduction of things like pricing incentives and rebates. Remember, it was not too long ago that people were walking into car dealerships and paying over invoice for vehicles, and in some cases paying more for a pre-owned car than they would for a new car because it was just physically available. Next up, you'll see airfare sales at the grocery store. You'll see price promotions with few major retailers announcing price cuts, which will also then pressure competitors to bring down their prices. Home prices are falling because rates have been high for so long, but now we're hitting kind of a bit of a sweet spot here. I was just telling someone the other day, the price for a house you pay just once, so grab it as low as you can. The rate you can refinance when they drop, which the Fed is expected to do next month.
All right, that was Steve Noviello, and that's our show. Thanks so much for joining us. Drop me a line on Instagram, Facebook, and X. It's all Heather Sullivan, Fox 26, and you'll find more ways to save every day on Sullivan Smart Cents on fox26houston.com. And we'll see you next time right here on Dollars and Cents.